Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better. On behalf of the whole MIKEKINGBIZ ecosystem, we say a big thank you.
In a world where quality business information is needed, we bring you On the Mic with Mike, the leading social enterprise business show in RVA. Join Mike King, the partnership guru, daily at 1 p.m. on WJFN 100.5.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. That's vintage Mike King. That was back in my days, WJFN radio, where we honed our skills to take us to the point now. Every day, Monday through Friday, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, as well as YouTube, Saturday, 6 a.m. Eastern, ESPN Richmond. Got my good friend Beth Murphy, who's been with me along the way. Bryant and Stratton College has been a great supporter of the program. Welcome back, ma'am.
Well, thank you. And you've always been a great supporter of us, Mike, so we appreciate it.
So for people who haven't been in the studio, we have our new wall of fame there.
I love it.
Bryant and Stratton is there. Bluey made it.
I love it.
You know it's something when you got Bluey in studio. Bluey, for folks who do not know, is the mascot for Bryant and Stratton Richmond.
It's our Bobcat.
Is that what it is?
Yes, a Bobcat. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. You're the Bobcat.
That's right. Yeah.
Is everybody like all the locations? Do they all have?
Yeah, we all have the same mascot. So Blue is our Bobcat. Since we don't have athletics, Blue has limited appearances.
Right, but, it's like Beyonce. You don't come to everything.
That's right.
Because when Blue shows up,
it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Graduation. It's pretty cool you start showing up to graduations.
Yeah, new student orientation, graduation. It adds another element of excitement.
That's right. And one of the posts I just had a couple weeks ago when one of the children wanted to graduate.
I loved that post, and you made me cry. But it was such a great visual. So many of our students are pursuing their education at a time when it's not easy.
It's not easy.
They're, a lot of them are working, they've got kids, and yet they see a brighter future, not only for themselves, but for their family, for their children. And so when you see that child at the convention center aware that mom and dad's graduated,
that's a big deal.
They've worked hard and they were part of the journey. Like, I earned my master's when my son was young, and being able to look to him, he was my cheerleader on those days when I wasn't sure if I was going to make it. Matthew kicked in and made me know I could, and so I love that posting. It really reminded us.
It's one of the things. So when we go to Bryant and Stratton, it's made differently, built differently for you. We see students who are in wheelchairs. Mm-hmm. We see graduates with support animals. It's all those things that's inclusive of the organization, because people come there with different life journeys and they're not sure when they show up.
Yeah.
And here we are at graduation. It's a big day for you and for them and for everyone else.
Yeah, well, we want people, dagnabbit, the process is difficult enough.
Yes.
I want people to feel like they belong. I want people to feel that when they walk in the doors, okay, this is an environment where it's actually possible.
There you go, Beth Murphy, Bryant and Stratton. Where can people get information about Bryant and Stratton?
Well, you can visit our website, bryantstratton.edu. You can call us at 804-745-2444, or you can visit us at 101 Gateway Center Parkway, Suite 210. In fact, you could visit us on Saturday, August 8th, because we're having an open house. And so if you're interested in stopping by or just being nosy, you want to see the new campus, you are more than welcome to stop by.
The new digs are something. But I was there when we talk about, the open house. To come there, you can see it. You also can say, I want to be a nurse. I want to be in nursing. Mm-hmm. I don't know all the things that go into it, but there's an expert there who can say, or I want to be a nurse, but, I don't want to do the nights and weekends and all those things. Hold on a second here.
Right.
Maybe that's the guidance that Bryant and Stratton offers.
And I love the fact we offer that level of support, again, because we're built different for you. we offer it through the whole process. So during the admissions process, you're talking to an advisor about what is the right career path. Well, you know what, Mike, what you're talking about may not be nursing, it might be medical assisting. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what a successful schedule would look like. You're then going to sit down with financial aid. And let me repeat that. Sit down with financial aid and talk about, okay, this is how much your education is going to cost. Let's work on a solution. How are we going to pay for that? How are we going to make that investment? So you don't walk out of there. Yeah, financial aid's difficult. So
yes, it is.
You don't walk out of there wondering. Then you're going to sit down with an academic advisor who's going to really put the bow on your schedule and talk to you about day, evening, remote, online, in person. What are you most comfortable with? So you've got that whole level of support, because I think deciding to pursue a degree in higher education, a lot of times you can feel like, I don't know what I don't know. And that's really a scary place to be. I love that you can lean into experts.
And it is a career college. Explain what that means.
The career college, I love the career college concept. It means we're focused on the career. So you don't have a lot of fluff. We're not taking foreign languages at Bryant and Stratton. We're not taking studies in poetry. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with any of those. But we are very focused on getting you your degree so you can go and work. And so not only do we not have a lot of fluff in the classroom, but we also only are offering programs of study where there is a demand in our community. So you'll see programs of study like the nursing, the medical assisting, healthcare administration. You'll also see hospitality, IT, human resources, business, early childhood education. All of those things, you're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, I know somebody's hiring there. I know there's a shortage there.
I think when people go down, it's like the wall that I have here. There are pictures, there's one. They're all separate occasions. It's only when you start running down the list of things at Bryant and Stratton, it's like, yeah. That, when one time you guys had an HR event there, I didn't really get it, because that didn't come top of mind that, HR is a course of study here.
That's right. Well, a lot of people do, and I can understand why. People equate us with nursing.
Yes.
Because we have a fabulous program. We're putting tons of nursing graduates into the Commonwealth. But yeah, we've got a fantastic business. We have wonderful human resources. There is a diversity in the programs. Again, all linked though to what our community needs.
That's right. Beth Murphy, Bryant and Stratton. Here, where are we in the semester,
We're
man?
almost done. It feels like we were just cutting the ribbon for the new building and start kicking off the new semester. We are finishing up, and it's time. Everybody needs a break. So I'm excited. The students are doing their final exams, final assessments. We will finish up next week, and then we'll be taking a couple weeks break. And I'm excited because there's been a couple of things with the building, like some furniture that's been missing type of thing. So we're going to finish that up and then roll into September, which is always just an awesome semester.
It's an exciting time. When you told that class at New Student Orientation, they were going to be the first group into the building, and now the semester is almost over.
I know. And you know what, Mike? Those first couple of weeks, and you're at New Student Orientation, so you know that deer in the headlight look, right?
I don't know about this.
Yeah. And the first couple of weeks, you definitely see that as you're meeting the new students. You're still helping them find class. You're still talking them down a little bit. And now I can't tell the new and the continuing. Everybody's got it going on. You would think we've been on this campus for years as opposed to just months. We've all figured out our favorite parking spot in the garage type of thing.
Food truck,
oh my gosh, we've had
out there.
So many good. I love the community support. We've had at least one food truck a week. We're all getting used to not having a grocery store next to us.
Yes, I'm sure that was convenient.
Yes, but no. I am so proud of our students, and our students are so inspirational. They work so hard. I'm proud of them.
So when we talk about the journey you start off, whether it's the money, can I afford it? I don't know whether I can do this. The other big part is, what am I going to do when I'm done?
Yeah.
And that's the career services part that a lot of times people wait. Other places they wait and they wait, and then they really don't have the benefit of it. Where Bryant and Stratton, you guys this is right at the beginning. We're starting this out.
No, so career services is introduced to the group at new student orientation. Jill and her team always do a great job. But then you have things formal and informal that are woven in while a student's with us, so we can make sure, are you on the right path? So you're meeting employers. We're bringing employers to campus so you can talk to them about the jobs that are available. You've got career services coming into the classroom, working on networking, resume building. Our nursing students are doing clinical opportunities out in the field. And then all of our students prior to graduation, if you haven't done a clinical, you're doing an internship experience. And that is where you're demonstrating what you've learned, but you're also getting that reality check of, okay, is this really a good fit for me? So by the time you are graduating, I hope all of our students feel workforce ready and confident in the degree they've chosen.
Well, I think they are, because they recruit the next classes for you guys, which is something, it really says something about a place. The other part I want to touch on is there's a school aspect, there's life, and all those things are all intermingled. You guys do a lot of things to help the students that aren't school related, really, because you understand the whole person is coming to Bryant and Stratton.
We do our best to support. Again, formal and informal things. You've got the formal, all of our students have access to mental health support. That's a huge piece, right? But informally, we'll bring an ice cream truck to campus. That was my favorite day, like last week.
Yeah.
But, you try to do things that help lift people when they need a little lift. So maybe it's a little Bryant and Stratton swag one day. Maybe it is ensuring that all of our professors feel empowered, that if they see a student who maybe is struggling a little bit, that because the classrooms are small, the classes are small, instructors know their students, and so they can reach out and say, hey, you doing okay? You got this. All of that can be just so impactful in regards to people finishing.
I do see, so when I was on campus, you see the fruit and vegetables are there.
Oh, yeah.
That's something. I've seen banking, all those things that could play a part in a person's world. You never know what somebody's going through. And all of a sudden coming to campus. That's why I tell people, get to campus. Get to campus, because if you wait, like we're coming up to the big traditional start of school.
Yeah.
Don't wait until it'll be 2027 and you could have had a semester out of the way. Exactly.
It's you and I've talked. I think the hardest part is walking through that front door.
It is.
And once you do that, we'll try. We take our mission of being a champion of students very seriously. And I really believe that when people walk through the door, they begin to feel immediately how others are rallying around them and advocating for them so that they can be set up for success.
There you go. One last time, ma'am, how can people find information?
BryantStratton.edu, 804-745-2444.
At Jana King, we get it. You need a reliable cleaning partner you can trust. With Jenny King, you're partnering with local business owners backed by over 55 years of expertise. Call or visit jennyking.com today.
Ma'am?
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Glad to be back.
So it is something here, because normally you're here either talking to people or dropping words of wisdom on us. I'm looking over there. I see you got some talking points. So tell people who you are and what you do.
Thank you, sir. Gladly. As you heard already, my name is Lynn Lewis. I am a certified grief educator. I am a suicide loss grief coach, and I am the Chief Empathy Officer for Destined to Thrive Grief Coaching Services. Just a little bit about who I am.
A little bit. And so when I met you, what was the one thing now? We're catching up to another thing. When I met you, what was it that stood out to you that I definitely let you know?
The thing that stood out to you that you always tell me is that I made the comment that grief and joy can coexist.
And I think sometimes, I don't know whether people think that's possible, that you have to be, something was put on you that it's grief and it's going to stick and stay. That was number one. Now you dropped something else on me that really played a part too, and it's about the grief process. And you talk about the idea of grief does not have to be loss. It does not have to be suicide. It does not have to be. Grief can be something that you can't do anymore. Like the conversation we were having.
Right.
I used to be something back in the 80s.
No, grief, what I said is loss is not exclusive to death.
Ooh.
Loss is not exclusive to death. And what I mean by that is loss is anything that you no longer have access to. Something that you have been deprived of, whether it is a person that has passed away, it can be a relationship that's passed away, it can be a loss of health, loss of identity, even loss of a pet. So that's a loss. And grief is the emotions that we experience, our reaction, our emotional reaction or response to the loss.
Okay, so the loss of something that we cannot do anymore. Are the steps to get out of it the same?
No, not at all. Each and every one of us experience grief differently. And I like to say that our grief experience is like our fingerprint. You know, to the naked eye, fingers look like fingers, but under, on an ink pad or under the microscope, we all have distinctions. And that's how our grief process is. Everybody experiences it different, even if it's for the same person, meaning if it's a parent that has passed away, even the siblings are going to experience it different.
And that's something because I was an only kid for almost 14 years. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that you parent kids different because there was no, and I didn't know. So here in the loss, during grief, you just put that to the side, mm-hmm. do what needed to be done. But everybody's grieving and showing how they feel in different ways.
In different ways.
For the same person.
For the same person. And that is one of my desires as a grief educator, is to help our society normalize talking about loss, talking about grief, and giving each respect to each other, giving space to each other to manage it, to navigate it however works best for them.
Okay, so you did come with talking points, and normally this is your show, but I'm sorry, I gotta take it over here for a moment.
It's okay.
I saw a person who said, this man talked about, a child had passed away. Mm-hmm. He said it becomes tough when people say, how many kids do you have? And he says, I want to honor that my child was here, mm-hmm. but then that opens up a whole bunch of questions about what happened and do I want to say that. So a parent has a child who passes away. What do they say if a person says, how many kids do you have?
So good question, Mike. I am one of those parents. I only had one child and he passed away. So I make the decision on the spot. For instance, recently I was at a women's luncheon, and everybody was kind of introducing themselves, and it seemed like all of us that were parents were boy parents. And I said, I'm a boy parent too, to a deceased son. The room went kind of quiet.
Yeah.
But it kept moving, but it went kind of quiet. Unfortunately, few of the people there knew my situation, but no one, addressed it. But it just came out that way. That's not always how I address it. And then even if you say, for persons that have multiple children, it's up to you to say, I have 5 children. Some people will say something like, but one is in heaven, or I have 5 children, but one is not here anymore. But it really is a decision of the person. But I will say, if you are the person that's asking the question, and when they answer the question, then allow them to say more.
If they want
to.
That's what you had talked about a couple of weeks ago. Be sensitive to
right.
that. Don't start asking, because all of a sudden it puts me in a position where maybe I have to give up more than I really want to. So that's a good point. Let me ask you this. So a little while ago, I was doing a task, and you asked me a question, and you're like, hold on a second, and asking a man to do multitasking. So we hear about loss, and sometimes women can talk to each other and all that. Men just get it and carry it, and there's no. So how did you see your husband during this time? He's hurting, but he got to do the man thing, which is keep going. Touch on that for us, like for a man who's hurting, and how you navigate during that time.
So for my husband, I did see him hurting. Yes, he did keep some of it to himself. But for him, he's a trained counselor.
Okay.
Certified, not a licensed, but certified counselor. He is also a trained chaplain. So he's heard. Though his training got pushed to the side when our son passed away.
He becomes
right, and then he was now the survivor. I say on the other side of the table, but and he still sometimes he talks about it. I knew that Daniel was on his mind yesterday because he meant to say the dog's name, and he said Daniel, and I said that wasn't Daniel, that was Ziggy. So I know that it's on his mind. He's on his mind, but overall he handles it pretty well. And as far as talking about it, and then he's able to help other men to say, hey, it's okay, whether you're a preacher, pastor, whoever you are, it's okay because you're human first.
So he had written the book, Did you think that helped him get to, or because he's trained, or he's heard a lot of those things, but now he comes from being pastor and hearing those things, so those being his things.
Right. So the book Mike is speaking of is an anthology that my husband wrote one chapter in. And the chapter he wrote in the book is more about him and his dad's relationship and not his relationship with our son. And he talks about how his dad wasn't in his life, readily in his life, but he sees that as a way that even that taught him how to be a dad.
And so he goes to that point. All right, man. Well, thank you for the counseling session. This is Lynn Lewis. We'd like to thank her. Now we can get back to the regularly scheduled program. Take it away, ma'am.
Okay. So today I just wanted to share, again, as a grief educator, I am striving to help us as a community of people, as a society, to normalize talking about loss and grief. And I know from myself, and I speak mostly from my lived experience, is lots of times we'll get resources, we'll go to conferences or networking events, and we'll be handed flyers, cards, whatnot. Oh, call this number, this, that, and the other. And sometimes we don't know what to do with that information. So today, I just want to share some resources that I'm a part of, that I've used, that I'm still using, that I've vetted. And if you happen to contact either of these resources and don't get a response, let me know, because I can get you there, so to speak. But the first one is Full Circle Grief Center. And that is a nonprofit organization right here in the Richmond, Virginia area. They're housed on Staples Mill Road. They are a full service grief organization. All of their group support is at no cost, and they have support groups for just about any type of loss that you can think of. And then they also have individual counseling that is by pay, and they accept most insurances or out of pocket. But I learned about them shortly after my son died almost 7 years ago. And the one thing, and I did use their grief support groups as well as the individual counseling. The one thing that stands out, Mike, most to me is that they told me that regardless of whether you're actively participating in a service or not, you'll always be a part of the Full Circle family. And I feel that way. I've volunteered with them. I've gotten called in to do videos for their training, to talk to other parents who've had similar losses. So it is a great organization. You can reach them on social media, their website, fullcirclegc.org. Fullcirclegc.org is Full Circle. Another organization.
Oh, let me sit with that one right there. How long after your son passed away did you make it to that organization?
I made it to it in like 2 months. He passed in August, and I remember October or November, I was a part of the support group.
How did you find them?
I found them by attending another networking event that somebody shared. They said, oh, you might like, and I connected with them that way, and I'm so glad that I did.
When you went to, I know people are apprehensive. You're walking in there, you don't know anybody. It's kind of awkward. What was the thing that you think put you at ease?
It's not that I was at ease, but I was eager. I was eager to find out how could I function after experiencing this devastating loss. And they interview their volunteer, their support officers, they interview you. And so they get to talk to you and kind of put you at ease about what to expect. So it's not like I walked in off the street into this. Yes, I had an idea of what to expect. It still was uneasy because you don't know. But I was just determined I've got to figure out a way that I can live my life despite this loss.
What was the thing that put you at ease when you finally got over the hump and you went from being they and me to us?
One of the things is there were 3 other moms whose sons had passed by suicide, and we bonded.
You had a crew.
Yeah, I had a crew. I found my crew. And then being the encourager that I am, there were some other persons who were having a really, really, really hard time. I was able to encourage them as well. And we met, I think it's 12 weeks. The support groups, I believe, is 12 weeks, 8 or 12 weeks. And over that time, we were able to just be there, be that safe space for each other, whether we cried, whether we laughed, whether we talked about our people, whether some people cussed and cursed and, all of the things. But we were there for each other. And the ladies and I kept in touch for several years. Even now, if I text, I'll get response from them.
And the name of the group once again
It's
is?
Full Circle Grief Center. Full Circle Grief
So you
Center.
definitely give them the thumbs up.
I definitely give them the thumbs up. If you happen to call Allison or Karen and mention my name, they will know exactly who I am. Just tell them I sent you. Lynn Lewis sent you.
Okay, this is Lynn Lewis here. She is the grief educator. And like I said, you went and you didn't know that world. You found someone there. Alrighty.
Another organization that I work closely with is called Operation Yellow Tape. And you may remember, Mike, I had Kenny on
Yes,
the show.
because I'm going to be there with you guys. I got inspired.
Yeah. So Operation Yellow Tape is a mental health advocacy group founded by a retired fire lieutenant out of Chesterfield County, Virginia, by the name of Kenny Mitchell Jr. And it's for first responders. It's for their families, but it's also for community. I have been welcomed into that organization as a parent of a first responder. I'm not a first responder, not a military person, none of those things, but I've been welcomed there. And I'm grateful for the connection that I've been able to make as a result of being there. And the one thing I want to share about Operation Yellow Tape is that there is a conference coming up on October 3rd, 2026. It's a free conference, but it is full-fledged, all-day conference. And I think you'll be there.
I'm going to be there.
Yeah. So that is another organization that it's a movement. It's not just a conference once a year, but if you connect with us, me or Kenny Mitchell Jr. .com, you can register for the conference as well as get resources.
There you go, Lynn Lewis. If anyone's going through grief, any type of grief, loss, or anything like that, that's the place to be. And so Kenny, he's dynamic too. You guys kind of go together. And so that's the idea. So if you're dealing with loss or grief or any of those things, you know, that is the person. If you need a person to speak at an event, Lynn Lewis is that person. You say you make people feel at home. So what was it about Kenny's group that got you?
When I met him, the first time I met him at an event, and he asked me to come to his conference that year, a few months later, and he just, I said, threw me in the deep end of the pool.
Kind of like what I do.
Yeah, introduced
Not
myself.
giving you details.
Nope, not at all.
Sketchy on the info.
Yeah, I thought I was there. He was going to introduce me, and he said, "Introduce yourself," and I did, and then I've been a part of the group, and and it's helped me to get into some rooms. You talk about rooms. He introduces me like you introduce your people to everybody that comes through. He introduces me, and so I've just become a part of that Operation Yellow Tape. So if you're interested in that, KennyMitchellJr.com is where you can find Operation Yellow Tape.
Mike King, Lynn Lewis, the grief educator. If you're out there, like I said, my mom passed away. I wrote some stuff in a book, and I read it out, and like 10 years later, I'm like, oh, Lord. Man, that was, because I always ask people, do you read, are you a journal? Do you read the stuff? And I'm like, I never did. But that way, a person said they write because I want to know how I felt that day. So the loss of a son, Lynn is here. Alrighty, ma'am, you say you got one. See, folks, she's not like me. She didn't came. So Icon Commercial that came in the building right here. And some folks come prepared. Other folks, they just roll in here off the dome and start talking. I'm talking off the top. Lynn Lewis got detailed notes up in here, and I'm trying to look over there what she got written, but I don't want to steal the lady's thunder. So you have one more, man. Who you got?
More. I have one more, and it's called the GLAD Community. GLAD is an acronym for Grief and Loss After Death and Dying. GLADD. It's a relatively new organization, another nonprofit. And we are kind of three parts. So one part is we're 24/7 national support hotline. We're not crisis. So if someone calls in with a crisis, we refer them to the 988 number. But sometimes people just want to talk. We get calls late at night. Someone can't sleep because they're missing their spouse or their person that they're used to being in the house with them at night. So we're there to talk to them and just be available to listen. The second part of GLAD is we have 40 classes by Zoom every week at various times that covers all types of losses. And I'm one of the 16 grief coaches that facilitate those classes. And now that one is a minimal monthly subscription fee of $28, but you can go to any or all of the classes on Zoom, and you can cancel your subscription at any time you want to. The third part of GLAD is that for yearly, we will be giving 50 families $8,000 to help honor the wishes of their family member who is terminally ill or at the end of life. I think of it as kind of like the Make-A-Wish, but this is that they can use for whatever they need for that end of life. So if you don't need any of these things that I've talked about, GLAD you can reach by gladcommunity.com, GLADD community.com. But perhaps you don't need any of these things personally. I would ask you to consider donating so that other persons who need the services, and no donation is too small. We're in the community. GLAD is housed out of Florida, but we are nationwide. So that's what I have as far as resources. And then, of course, I can't leave without saying what I offer personally.
There we go.
You already know I'm a grief educator. So if you're looking for a speaker or a workshop leader, reach out to me. If you know someone who is experiencing loss as a result of suicide and needs some coaching to help them move forward, reach out to me. You can find me on Instagram as Grief Coach Lynn, and I'm also on Facebook as Lynn Lewis, and I am on LinkedIn as Lynn Lewis as well. And so, and I'm available for podcast interviews as well. And let me just say this: suicide is my niche. Suicide Awareness Month is September, but I'm inviting you not to wait until September to plan your podcast interviews or your workshops. Go ahead and schedule us now. And if I'm not your cup of tea, I will find you the flavor that best suits you.
She says, what do you call it, hibiscus? That's one of them fancy teas. I'm from Philly, so I don't know. I just know what you bring. I guess what I learned from you is you can find joy in grief. I didn't think that was possible when you're grieving, you're on, but you say you can find your way out of it. And loss is the things you can't. So I'm grieving the loss of me back in the day. Like I said, I didn't want to be the hater old man. When I saw the person just walk in like without an effort, I'm like, I remember when that used to be me. So you say that's loss, not grief.
No, that's the loss. When you are grieving the loss.
When I'm looking.
Yeah, when you're looking. But again, just like after a death, you get to decide what you're going to do with that emotion. Okay, so I can't run like I did when I was in the Army, but I can get up and move every hour. So I can park the furthest spot away from the building.
You know what I'm going to say, ma'am? I got to go to the doctor on the 29th. And you know what I contemplated?
What?
One of the placards.
Oh, you did?
I didn't do it yet.
Okay.
I'm a man. I don't want to do it. But when it's 1,000 degrees here in Virginia, and I'm parking 2 miles away, and I see that parking spot there with the handicap joint on there, I'll be like, I don't want to, but do you think that's wrong?
That's got to be your decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, what type of help is Lynn? I'm saying you can validate it like, yeah, Mike, you know what? You know, you may pass out walking that mountain, or maybe you might get yourself together.
Right.
There you go. Lynn Lewis, Mike, on the mic with Mike. Make sure you reach out to her. It is a serious topic, so.
This is the night that 10 years, 15, 20 years, you're going to be looking back and saying, I was here. There's an inflection point happening in technology. We get to lead it, and we get to lead it right here in Richmond.
We must prepare existing workers, students, and communities to be able to use AI so that no one is left behind.
The real story isn't AI itself. The real story is what AI makes possible. AI is the new keyboard. It's the new mouse. It's not the answer, it's the instrument. And the more people we hand that instrument to, the more possibilities we turn into realities.
People want to be together when you're making a difference. How can we make Richmond, make the region, and in part, all of Virginia, the most AI ready? A lot of people ask me, do we just want to be the Silicon Valley of the East Coast? The quote everybody keeps on having me re-ask is no. My mission is for Silicon Valley to be the Richmond of the West Coast.
MIKEKINGBIZ. With these mics, I feel like I'm customized. This is MIKEKINGBIZ. Sounds of life, but still boxing my shadow. Yeah, it's MIKEKINGBIZ. Never threw in the chowder. Hip hop's Messi, Neymar, and Ronaldo. Go! Scored on these boys. 7-1 damn near every single award on these boys. Sold out movie theaters and even tours on these boys. Feeling like a mop wipe the floor with these boys.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic with Mike King here, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Call Federal Credit Union Icon Realty Group Minis. It is the media center here, high above Enrico. So you can follow me on social platforms, which are on the mic with Mike RV, as well as MIKEKINGBIZ. We talk to the best and the brightest. Okay, sometime in this business, it is called a get. Anytime when they talk about the GOAT now, there's GOAT conversations being from Philly, something big just happened. Something big just happened. And I'm a LeBron fan. Yes, I am. So all you folks out there who are going to come at me with the stuff, the king is coming to Philly. Yes. But now we got the radio GOAT. Yes, the greatest of all time.
Indeed.
The community, Chloe Lawrence, is in the building. Now, she came with a friend. They're here to talk about something serious.
Yeah.
And it is impactful. We're going to start down on the end. Chloe, welcome to the program.
Welcome. I'm honored to be on the MIKEKINGBIZ show.
Well, besides that, another thing, as they say, I come from preachers, so I'd be remiss if I didn't say we got rock stars in the building who are not on camera. We do have a rock star.
Oh, we do?
Yes. A Mikey Award winner, Hampton Institutes, as she would say, the real HU.
The real HU.
The real HU in Kenya is in the building.
Yes,
Congratulations on all you do.
Thank you.
All right, Chloe, tell us who you are, what you do, and who you brought with you.
Wow. Who am I? Well, a lover of God, first and foremost, a longtime radio announcer. I've been in the business 40 years, effective February, and honored to do that. Got a big event coming up, and you're going to be my very special guest when we happen. But I'm wearing a couple of hats.
Because one of the things, we know you as that person.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other things you do, and this is one.
Yeah.
You're making moves, as we say, sometimes they're not loud. The words are not loud, but the actions be screaming. Okay, so tell us what else you do that may not get as much notoriety.
Well, What I can say as far as our nonprofit, we are one of the biggest housing providers for the Virginia Department of Corrections, and we've been doing that for almost 10 years. And we keep that quiet as well because we are dealing with persons in their lives to start their life all over again. And now our other hat started a business here. She is the chief visionary of Next Gen Business Enterprises, and it's a consulting firm, not only consulting, but we do workforce development. We're ground game gurus, and we're on the show today, not only to talk about the business, but this big bill, which has become law, that we're going to put people back to work, not only for family sustaining wages, but to build a legacy of currency. And so she is the chief visionary. I work with her as a partner. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Kimberly Jones Booker.
Hold on one second. See, we spared no expense. Well, yeah, well, it is, but well, this is what our budget said. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you, Mike King, for having me on your program, and thank you for that introduction, Miss Community Clovia. Yes, I mean, to be celebrated 40 years in the industry, it's phenomenal, and I'm blessed enough to say that I believe that I've been there the whole time, like from year number one at Magic 99 FM in Petersburg, Virginia, all the way to the stellar position that she has right now. And I could not be any more proud of my sister.
Thank you.
And so with Next Gen Biz Enterprises that she just mentioned, when I first formulated this business, I said to her, I cannot imagine taking on this business without you, because we've done so many things that were complementary to one another's efforts, initiatives, and what have you. And I would like to say we go down in history in the whole DMV area for our Syndicate to Camp, Radiothon, Give-a-thon.
That's where I've seen you at before.
Yes.
I know that lady from we were out at the community center or a church out in Chesterfield.
Could have been, yeah.
We were broadcasting. Yes.
That
was it. I'm looking at you going, okay. Well, really quickly before, now I told you there's no rhyme or reason to this.
Sure.
Chloe, what you do a lot of time is very, people see it and people know it's very showy. But this, what you're talking about, are people's lives.
Yeah.
So a lot of that is behind the scenes.
Yes.
It's work that's impactful, but it's not loud, because you want people to be able to do some dignity in getting that help and the things you're doing. So you guys are out there beating the bushes, telling people what's happening, so that somebody else does not have to, and they can take advantage of of the opportunities that are afforded here in America.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to just really sound the alarm. Syndicate to Camp isn't that quiet.
Oh, that part is. But we don't know really. We know what it does, but we don't know the impact that it has.
So Syndicate actually almost predates social media, if you will. So when we first started it on the radio, it was out of a place of grief for the loss of my son, Clovia's godson, Alexander, who would come to Richmond and stay with her for the summer. This is before she had children. So this is before beautiful Kenya was even born. Yeah. He was coming and just staying with his godmother for the summer. She was bringing him to the radio stations. That was his world, right? And my other kids joined as well. So in the summer, Clovia became mom to my children, and they went to camp here, and they visited their family from her house and all of those things. And in losing Alexander, it really changed the trajectory of what our lives look like and our summers. And the very first thing that we decided to do was to keep that love and the initiative going, and the things that he meant to us. It really started out of grief the first year, and by the second year it was so successful. And mind you, this is a one-day fundraising event. Take some planning, but it's executed in one day. And Clovia was able to bring the mayor, the chiefs of police, the sheriff's office, the governors. I mean, everybody who was beloved to her they understood the grief because they heard Alex on the radio. They heard her talk about him, so they knew by the airwaves. And then there came a time, we were 10 years in, maybe even headed towards 13, 14, and Mrs. Hughes blessed us with her presence one year. But we had to get permission every year, and this was one of the biggest things for the summer. And I thank my sister for the partnership and then for the people's commitment. And it got to a point where the governors couldn't wait to come and bring their check. They would come in person and they would speak on what summer camp meant to them. And so what we do is we grant those monies to vetted camps that we've chosen that meet our academic requirements, our nutritional requirements, our recreational requirements. We grant that money to them, and then the children can come in, and until the money is gone, they can go to the camps of their hopes and their dreams with no cost to the family. We didn't never want to get wrapped up in the red tape of it all. How much your mama make? How much your daddy make? You know, where you live at. We just didn't want to get in that. We just wanted kids safe, off the streets, recreation, eating, having fun, and enjoying their best lives.
So I came here in 2014 and it was up and running. It was up and running. You never know the story behind something that's so impactful. There's a lady who comes in, Lynn Lewis. She's the grief counselor, the grief educator. And she said, you can find peace and joy in grief. I didn't think it was possible. But what you've done is you've taken that and really turned it into something impacting people's lives. Everybody knows the school's out. Well, what am I going to do with these kids? And it's not like back in the day. A lot of things, there needs to be more structure. So, you know, congratulations to you ladies on making that happen.
Thank you.
You took a dream and
we didn't want that dream. Trust me. We didn't want that dream.
And every year, I think we would literally trade it in if we could. But the impact, I think we're over $800,000 pledged over these years. $800,000 pledged.
Well, didn't you guys just have it a couple?
Yeah, we did it June 10th.
That's right, because I remember seeing something where you were telling people how close you were. Like, get over here, we got 2 hours to go.
And we thank you so much for your donation.
Well, you know,
and your viewers as well for donating.
So we'd like to thank you for Clo coming in the building and you guys talking about this amazing work that you're doing. Okay. So now, where did the idea of this, what you're doing, this endeavor, now, what did you see that were like, okay, we can do this and make a difference?
So, you know, Clovia is Miss Community. She's out there. Her finger is on the pulse every single day. And even when I beg her to take a rest, she don't take a rest. She don't take a rest. So what was going on out here in the streets, especially when it came to new industries coming to the area, new hospitality gaming entities coming to the area, we're talking about the industry that stands to hire thousands with millions of dollars coming into the Commonwealth, right? And so we worked together on the One Casino first referendum with, you know, with Radio One and Urban One and that push. And that gave us a bird's eye view of the importance of this industry and how it could really change the trajectory for our people if we utilize it as a vehicle properly, right? And everyone knows that didn't happen for Richmond, but immediately the initiative was looking to transition to another place. And Miss Community, having her finger on the pulse, she got first word of where it was going, how it was going, what it was looking like.
And what is needed.
And what was needed. And with that too, the Cordish group, the owners of the Live brand, they're in Maryland. And when the word was that they were coming to Petersburg, like where we first came from, we were not going to be a part of that. We were a part of the MGM National Harbor in Maryland and that development and working the community ground game with that. Then the One Casino here. And then now, Live coming, we had to be involved.
So you understood the impact of the casino movement. Well, remember the conversation I said to you, Clo, why don't you come on the program and talk to me about the casino coming? And he said, well, I could come, but I'll just put you in touch with the person who's running it. And he gave me his number. We're going to call him name, but he gave me his number.
Yeah.
And I called you back. I'm like, Claude, you sure you don't want to get on this?
No.
I'm like, so when he finally came, I'm like, hey, thanks for coming. He goes, yeah, you wouldn't stop. Because he said, well, Claude said you got to go do the Mike King show.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when people see casinos, they think of negativity about what it's going to bring.
Mm-hmm.
But you're looking at this. I know I'd asked the mayor in Petersburg, you pull off the casino, this Better Business, the Better Medicine project, you ride off in the history books because it's something that you've done. But now the casino comes and like now we have staffing problem. That's what you hear. That's what you guys have addressed. Touch on what that means and how that has an impact.
You want to start first? I think what happened, we had a serious conversation, and she always sets me up, right? So we were having this conversation with this young man, and we're having the conversation. I didn't know that was an upper management person, and I was like, get out of here. You're going to hire X amount of people where? I mean, I'm literally talking like this, right? And for us to understand as a community, and not to take away from any great groups, organizations, and businesses with their research and their ground game as well, from the business that I work in for second chances, reentry, mental health, and substance use, folks need support. You can't only hire a person that's been in an area that has not been hireable. Okay, so we have to get people in position to get them hired. We have to understand that if they're going to earn an honest living, what does that do for their public housing? So we had to take all of these elements into account, and we understood it. That in conjunction with reading the big, beautiful bill, what are we going to do as a community when that goes into effect in January? And these are some of the things that we do. We do the research. We have touched. Both of us are adjunct professors, and we deal with the upper echelon and the medium echelon of people, not only in our schools and colleges, but out in the community, and people need help. And it's more so, it's like when you think about someone being hired, it was like, that was a great job. Why did they quit? Because it was other issues that were going on, whether it could have been medication that could manage whatever issue they had, whether it was a mental health issue, but we don't think about that. So we can help them fill prescriptions. So these were just some of the things that we wanted to offer in reference to people getting hired. And that's why it was a win-win situation for Live Virginia and also Next Gen.
When I talked to the Cordis folks, Zeb had been on the program and talking about the idea of what is the impact of what this is going to have on Petersburg. I'm not from here, but I hear Petersburg, they've been promised a lot of things. And now all of a sudden, Petersburg's kind of turned into the hot spot. People think that I'm crazy. I'm like, no, you need to get down there. If somebody told you 20 years ago that Richmond would be a hot spot, you'd be like, really? I mean,
inner city.
My wife has said, she thought, we used to live in Gaithersburg, Maryland. She thought we were going to that Virginia, that northern Virginia. We're going to Richmond. She like, what are we going to Richmond for? We had come through here on the way. I've been in the Army forever. We were on the way going to Fayetteville. Back and forth. There's nothing in Richmond. Now, I tell people if it wasn't for Northerners coming down here, Richmond folks would still be, they're kind of like doing it. Now we're on rooftops. And now Petersburg is doing the very same thing. Soon you have to go to Dinwiddie. Soon you have to go to Dinwiddie because you aren't going to be able to afford Petersburg with the things and the business opportunities.
I think that with Big Pharma coming to Petersburg, right? And now you have live casino and hotel. People leave out the hotel part, right? That whole complex, if you know anything about the Cordish Group, they started in real estate development first. They segued into gaming in 1990. Their very first facility is Maryland Live. And for the past 15 years, they have expanded with properties in Florida, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Kansas City, Houston. So if you look at that entire footprint, most of those places look like entertainment districts. And that's what Petersburg is going to be. So yes, you're going to have the casino. So if anyone has been down to casino right now, that's a temporary, what they call a tent. right? But
industrial tent, because folks are like, what do you mean a
like
tent?
an army tent?
Yes,
Right.
it's a metal building, right? But the brick and mortar is going to be 5 times the size of what you're looking at now. And that tent is nothing to sneeze at. It's beautiful once you go on the inside. So you have that casino with one of the largest gaming floors in the Commonwealth after it's built, right? And then you're going to have a hotel with 200 rooms and suites. And then there'll be 10 restaurants and eateries. And then there'll be a 3,700 seat concert venue, which is going to be the largest concert venue when you come down and through. That's going to surpass what Richmond currently has to offer right now. And then in about 7 to 8 years, you're talking 1,500 condos and townhomes with a center, not separated from the city of Petersburg, but this is within Petersburg proper. So that southern end of Petersburg is going to explode, but the whole city of Petersburg is. So with that in mind, that is what Clovey and I tell anybody that we come in contact with. And sometimes I carry the deck around with me to show people this is what it's going to be.
Not a possibility or the possibility. This is when they had the groundbreaking for like the temporary one. That was a madhouse out there. Everybody was there.
Oh, absolutely. We were there opening night. We actually
had the host parts of it.
Yeah, we hosted parts of it, and then we got to see the who's who. But we also went outside and we cheered the people that stood in line for hours. A lot of them were Petersburg residents. And what people also need to understand is revenue is being generated for that area, and they're not having to wait for the money. The money is coming into the city of Petersburg and for their elected officials to utilize. So now when you go to Petersburg, you are seeing new fire trucks, new police cars. You're seeing construction zones because now new water lines are coming in. And I'm not going to say that is just because of the casino,
but
that
it helps.
Yeah,
it adds
it
to
certainly
the value
helps.
of it. And then money has relationship with money. So now monies will be coming into Petersburg now because we have something that's going to be an engine operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the rest of our natural born lives.
Right.
And that's the one thing. So I was at an event at CarMax, and so a man said to me, they were really celebrating, the mayor, and it's like, and he says to me, because he knows I'm kind of like in the business, he goes, "This is the house that Stoney built." He goes, "All this would not have been there for LeVar Stoney going back for this." So when he said it to me, I'm like, man, I should have him come on and talk about it. I said to him, when, it said, what did you want history to say about LeVar Stoney 100 years? He said, I wanted to have an administration of consequence. Well, you got statues down, that said something. I said to him, people were not happy when you took the second swing at, the casino. He said, I really didn't want to, but politics is horse trading, kind of. You want to vote for the park? We got to take another shot at the casino. You did that, and then people right on the next thing, it's like the casino's coming to Petersburg. I mean, in like the next 15 minutes. But what did you see how that would have an impact down in Petersburg, the one that it's having already?
I saw that, and in the city of Richmond, like I said, I didn't work on the second casino, the referendum. The very first one, I went down to Petersburg a couple of times. In fact, we did. They called us the strike team. Went down to Petersburg to look at creating a jobs bus from Petersburg to Richmond to Petersburg, and point south. And if you will, we started south first because that's where we are, where we would have been over in the 8th district on the south side of Richmond. And I saw where they could work, and it would be something great for the entire community because, again, we as a strike team and as our business now is we understand the people of the community. We understand the voters. When you talk about this is a voter district, we understand the voter. We're going to understand the people who vote. We're going to understand the people who don't like the vote. We're going to understand the people who only vote during the presidential race. We understand people who will not vote because it's a referendum. So with that being said, we took an account the whole community and what the needs were. And we literally spoke to people in reference to what it is that they like. I think what happened in the city of Richmond, folks, even in the line of work that I'm doing, right? And I'm dealing with second chances, they just simply think that casinos were just for people that's going to take their money, they're going to have addictive behavior, it's going to be a lot of prostitution. That's not the case. We're trying to get people to work upstairs in the front and the back of the house.
Right.
It was always been about employment.
And so that's the workforce development piece.
That's where we are.
Absolutely. And then too, just as Clovia just mentioned, it's been about employment. It's also been about family supporting wages and career opportunities. A part of that legislation that we wrote actually now makes it legal for 18, 19, and 20-year-olds to work at the casino. Prior to that, it was 21.
Not on the gaming floor.
Yes, not right. So what they can do now is they can work back of the house. They can walk across the gaming floor to do their jobs, right? 18, 19, and 20-year-olds. Now, when you bring in that whole population that wasn't a part of the conversation at first, that buoys everybody else up. And that gives an individual who's decided, I don't want to go to college, or maybe I do want to be in hospitality, but I'm not sure where I want to be. That has a position for that young person that just graduated from high school to segue right into wages, getting the experience, having benefits, getting the camaraderie, getting the mentoring. Wow. So by the time that individual is 22 years old, that trajectory should be junior management, if not management, right? And again, what are we talking about? Front of the house and back of the house. So an 18-year-old,
in the house.
Yeah, they may start out wiping, bussing tables, but they're watching and they're learning and they're seeing, hey, I want to be the supervisor of audio tech in the concert venue. And they have a fast track to get there. You see what I'm saying?
And they hire from within.
The one part, my dad,
absolutely.
My father always say, you can't be making deals to understand if you're not in the room.
Absolutely.
You got to be in the room.
You got to be in the room.
You don't know what happens there. People just assume, well, you're here for a reason. They don't know what it took for you to get there.
Yeah.
You just be in the room. What's the next step? How can people help and support you guys in what you're doing?
So first and foremost, if you're interested in employment, I'm going to say live, but this legislation was for the entire state, the whole Commonwealth, all casinos. So whether you're in Danville, whether you're in Portsmouth, whether you're in Norfolk, or whether you're in Petersburg, Bristol, any of those, I say it's coming. 18, 19, and 20-year-olds can be hired. It is in effect right now, but give the casinos a chance to put their plan together on what they want that to look like. If you applied before and you were rejected because of your background, if you're clean and that's looking explainable in the past 8 years, apply again at the casino nearest you. That's why we did this, to open up those employment opportunities, right? To make sure that our people know that these aren't just jobs. These are careers. These are family supporting careers. These are home owning, right, careers. If you play your cards right, no pun intended. But
play your cards right.
And Clovia, please add on to that.
And I think when we decided to rewrite or amend the bill, it was more to it for us because, again, if you're coming into a community, you must know that community. It's nothing like someone coming to town and it's like, I know. And it's like, I've never met you. And so we have walked the streets of the community from the past to the present. I worked at Magic 99. So we still have families that were there then and generations of family. And what we have always been about as a business, and also with sisterhood friendship, is building legacy. We can't only build legacy for our families.
Right.
You have to build legacy for other families. So we have to show you how to get there.
Exactly.
It's nothing, you need to build a legacy. You need to have family sustaining wages. And it was like, am I hireable? Can you hire me right now? I'm a mess. So it's even having conversations when folks would come in and fill out applications, and then we would talk on the side. Or they'll say something to us, and I said, "Did you fill your medication?" Oh yeah. Ooh, let me go get it. And so those are things that we do to make sure you stay employed, not only for you, for your family.
That is building people up and making the whole community better.
Absolutely.
Well, how can people get information about this right here?
So I'm going to do something that I always do. I give out my personal cell phone number for people to give me a call. So they can call me Kimberly Booker, 202-997-9996, or they can go online to nextgenbiz360.com. That's nextgenbiz360.com. They can go to our website. They can leave a question there. They can reach out to me personally. But Mike, one thing that I do want to say is we are in the business of supporting people. That is whether they work at any of the gaming entities, or whether we help them with wraparound services being connected, or whether Clovia is in contact with them in the Second Chance community and the wonderful job that she does with housing for those individuals. That's our business, though. We do ground game. We roll our sleeves up to get the job done. And if there's any business owners that are listening to me right now, and you have an idea, or there's a piece of the law that you're trying to get an understanding, or there's a piece of law that you think that needs to be written, there's a gap, reach out to us so that we can pull you in, give you some of our consultative services, and help get you on the track for your industry or what you want to do.
And we're not lobbyists.
Yes, let's be very clear.
Yeah, we're not lobbyists, but just understanding the simple things about what it is that you want change, especially when you look at us and folks are watching, because we are a business and that's what we do. But we have to understand, in order to have a community of people who are consumers, you have to put them in position to win.
Clovia Lawrence dropping nuggets. Kimberly is here dropping nuggets of knowledge on the words of wisdom. Ladies, we'd like to thank you. How can people reach you?
Yes, again, 202-997-9996, or going on nextgenbiz360.com.
Or you can reach me, and I'm going to put my number out there too, 804-201-7701. And that's with all of the work that we do with Project Give Back to Community as a collaborative with the business and a nonprofit.
It is always a pleasure. These ladies are out there doing something amazing, opening doors for people.
I think if you don't understand financial literacy early on, you're starting in a hole. We're trying to set the mission that we are growing our credit union through the youth. We want to provide education, the products, the services, and all the resources they need to make financially healthy decisions.
Second. All right, we ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the mic. It's Mike King here, coming to you from the MIKEKINGBIZ Icon Real Estate Group, Call Federal Credit Union Media Center, high above Henrico. That's where we're coming to you from. We talk to you the best and the brightest, and today in the studio, I got the iconic one, the one whose name is on the building. So he didn't put his name on the building. He come in here rocking his icon shirt. See, I've had a relationship with him and his partner, Kobe K. That, you know, when Robert Jones shows up, it's different. So I had to put some woo on for him. You know, cash rules everything around him. That's what's happened. Robert Jones, icon, is in the building. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me, young man. It's always an honor to be in your presence, the Mike King Biz.
Well, you know, that is true. And like I do tell people, You were having a party one time, and
you still salty about that?
I am salty, and you know that your son's here, and he knows how people in Philly are. You know, we petty like that. So I saw you having a party, and I'm like, how come I didn't get an invite? And you said, Mike, that's just for the agents. I got something big coming up.
And then when I had something big coming up,
I was sick, man. What you want?
There you go with that. That was that Philly petty stuff.
I'm old and sick. And next thing you know, you call me from the joint like, don't ever bother me again about coming to an event. You guys rolled out something big.
We did.
You rolled out the deal. You had sparklers going up, all big things happening. And here I am looking at it, and now I got to listen to you.
That's right.
And then I heard from the missus too. It was bad when she got in on it, dogging me.
Oh, you know, we one in the same.
I know. I've seen y'all in action.
Freaking frack. So.
Y'all, yes. I thought
Bonnie and Clyde.
I thought she was there as supervision until I seen y'all together. Then I knew I was in trouble. Robert Jones, Icon, is in the building. Welcome, sir.
Thank you again.
He is A.K. Bobby Jones. He got the golf game. Yes.
The golf is life. Golf is life.
Really? You gonna give me like that?
Oh man, you know
that's how it is.
Cash rules everything around.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying?
And he is in town, so we got to make this fast. We got to make this work because this man is ready to go. You know, this is my introduction to the 1%ers. The people be like, you know, like Jay said, you know, we changed the forecast. You changed the forecast. You were not worried about the weather.
I need to worry about the weather here. We just changed the location to change the forecast, baby.
Robert Jones, sir. Welcome to the pro.
You make me act like this, man. This is not this type of setting. I'm not supposed to act.
I just know you as the real. You knew that I knew you as the real estate guy, but you were in the game, the business game, long ago. And I told you that I came into the barbershop,
Parkside Barbershop and
Grooming Lounge.
Absolutely.
And I walked in. I'm like, wow, this is different. And I thought you had the barber joint on, and it was leather. And then I seen your little marine. Sorry about that.
Little marine.
All right, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yes, your Marine Corps stuff there, and you know, as an Army man, it just, I know it's in the right place.
It was a little salty, you know.
I was a little salty, yes, but it ran the same way that the commercial and the residential real estate firm works. Tell us who you guys are, what you do, and how you can, so you have a standard for business, and that makes you iconic. So talk about what you do.
So, you know, we have a standard across the board. You know, business is business is business. You know, we went from the barbershop business, which is still running smooth. We laid the foundation, and now it's been going for 32 years. I go once a year. My brother runs that for me, and we took the same ingredients and moved that over into Icon Realty. And like when I say business is business is business, it's you don't have to do anything new. Once you understand how business runs and how laying the foundation is the strength of the future for your business. You know, so going over into the real estate world with all the connections that I've made on the golf course, in the barbershop, you know, it was somewhat seamless. And then when, you know, you add my Wonder Twin in, you know, my Bonnie and Clyde, my wife, Katina, who, you know, it's like the old cartoon Wonder Twins. When we put the rings together,
Wonder Good Power,
you activate. You know, so she had an aspect of what she does very well. I had an aspect of what I do really well, and we activated and created and grew something special, which is Icon Realty Group and Icon Commercial on the real estate side.
So when people, I always tell people, when people are picking teammates, partners, and all of that, how do you take your superpowers and mesh them with the other person's superpower so that what it turns into is something where when I ask Lise Washington, people always talk, I know people want to try and poach your agents. People always out there. And I said to her, people say the grass is greener on the other side. And she said the grass is greener where you water it.
We water our grass.
You water the grass.
We fertilize it, we cultivate it, and we talk to it.
And how do you merge those with somebody else who has that idea? And sometimes you bypass people who don't have that idea, or they don't operate like that. How do you find a person and make it work, and then other ones you send them off to the pasture?
So, a lot of people tell you who they are. One of the things that we say, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. Believe them. That's first and foremost. So we're able to, when we activate, we're able to identify. We can sit down and talk to someone and really identify who they are, what their core values are in a very short conversation. And then when we evaluate that, we kind of see where they fit in our culture, in the business. So, and in the business, you have, a lot of Indians. You only have one chief, two chief, but you have a lot of Indians to make the business work. So you identify the strengths of people in your team, on your team, and put them in a position where they can grow individually and where they can help us grow collectively as a business.
When you look at that, how do you cultivate the next generation of leaders and people to go for success? How you guys do it at Icon?
Education, hands-on training, getting in the trenches with them, not just telling and showing them what to do, but actually doing it with them. Understanding that, we didn't get to where we are by just waking up and being, a lucky seed. We had to grind. Mm-hmm. We had to sacrifice. We had to do exactly what we're asking you to do. We had to do that ourselves and are still doing it ourselves today.
One of the things, so the other day when we went to AI Ready to the party, mm-hmm. I was talking to Katina that day, and we were talking about Virginia Council of CEOs. And when I was one of the sponsors of an event, I looked around the room. The only black people was there was Katina, Colby, and Ron Carey. Mm-hmm. There might have been 300 people. And then me and another lady who were sponsors. I looked at that, so then I'm like, I wonder how it is for black CEOs. Because I asked her, how many other black folks in this group? And she was like, start thinking, I might be able, and I was like, Ron Carey, mm-hmm. us. You put yourself, explain to people about the power of putting yourselves into rooms where people can say yes.
Wow, that's simple for me. Never would have thought of it, but the power of golf. Golf put me in rooms, at tables that I would never have been at if I didn't take that sport up. It's and without golf, you have to find that niche in where you need to put yourself in the place with other successful people and own it. Even though we might not be there, we teach our agents, as far as networking is concerned, it's like, I haven't sold so many houses yet. How do I get my average price per home up? And I said, you have to put yourself in a place. You can't put yourself in a place where the average income is $40,000 a household. You have to put yourself in a place where your average income per household may be $200,000. How do I do that? I said, hey, every restaurant that I go to, every bar that I sit at, it's a Ruth Chris, it's a Bookbinders, it's in a area that I'm going to eventually strike up a conversation with someone that has the means
to be there.
So they said, well, I don't have that kind of money yet. I said, well, they have water, they have happy hour, they have salad. That same salad is going to cost you during happy hour the same price as it does if you go to Longhorn.
So I just thought about putting yourself in the room, sir. So
and I'm in this room.
you're in this room, but we're talking about Milton and Elise. So Secrets is a new hotspot in town.
Yes.
So I saw you there tonight. Y'all was there. Of course you was there. That's one of your
always
deals.
Like the support.
So a couple weeks later, me and my wife were riding by, and I'm telling her about this place. And so, like you said, part of having your Bonnie is they can keep you real. because sometimes we can sort of get a little carried away with ourselves. A little bit, a tad. So we're riding by, and I'm like, oh, okay, let me show you. Let's go there. It's 4 o'clock on a Saturday. I mean, what place is busy like that day? So we ride by, and I'm like, oh, baby, that's the place we're going. And she saw those people. They was totally dressed up. 4 o'clock on this. And there's a lot of people. They're going in. And it's like, that's the place. So Mike, ride around the block again. Now, it's kind of, it take a little bit to ride around the block. Yeah. So now we get there. The people have gone in. Now there's a new group of people, all dressed up. Now, the women really dressed up. The men are dressed up casual. I'm like, come on. She says, Mike, I'm not going in there. Then she goes, well, I could go in there. But you... What are you going to do? I'm like, I'm here to see Milton. I know the guy. Oh, what you going to pull it? I'm Mike King? Well, yeah. Clearly, we didn't go. I was ready. I'm going in there. You get to a point where I went to a place, and I'm not even going to say the person, but we both know the person.
Okay.
They're a car, they collect cars, and they're kind of like upscale. And they'll let you know they upscale. So there was an event that we were at, and there was a couple hundred people. And, I put my little church stuff on. I had my church shoes on. Hey, and people was going, it was an anniversary party for Holly Bird Miller. So it was at this estate thing. I don't know what it was. I, got my little suit on. And, everybody, now, it's Virginia, and the women got on fur coats. It's 60 degrees, but, they sporting. So we're there, and all of a sudden, said person walks in, and they weren't dressed up. Everybody was dressed up. And this person is stylish and always kind of like that. So we end up there, and they're having their remarks. It's a couple hundred people. Everybody's standing up. And he says, I'd like to thank my mentor, says the person's name. I turn around. Him and his wife were the only two people sitting. Everybody's been standing. I've been rocking back and forth. A friend of mine that took her shoes off. And then, I realized it's just a regular Thursday for that person. It's a regular day. It wasn't a big day. So when you show up to something, when you get there, it's a big deal because we want the right people in the right room at the right time.
Absolutely.
And so that's when you and your wife come to an event, you show up, the people are here. And that's what you try to do, tell your agents, I don't care what I got to do to sit in with Chris. People are not looking to see what you have. They just see you in the room.
They want to see you in the room and want to hear what you got to say. Because when you're in the room, the assumption and the perception is that you belong there.
Yes.
So if the perception is that you belong there, that's your opportunity and your platform to let them know what you do.
Okay,
and why you're there.
Okay, so when you get an agent, another person, have you had that moment where you were going to make a move and then at the last second you kind of dialed it back and didn't press the pull the trigger? Have you ever had one of those moments?
Pull the trigger.
Deion Sanders said one time, the man don't try and be the man. He just is the man. Like everybody else is trying to keep up. I had a deal one time that was more than I'd ever charged. And I was getting ready, and couldn't pull the trigger. Them people, they didn't see me the way I saw me. And when I sent it off, the lady called me back and says, Mike, you mean I get all that for that amount? Excuse me, ma'am, could I have a second with my client, please? Because we going to have to go back to the woodshed. And after that, I realized, was there a moment with you when, say with the barbershop, there was a time that seemed like it was in no man's land. And what were people saying about you at a barbershop in no man's land? It's too far, man. I would come out there, but...
It's crazy. Why would you do that? And I guess when you're talking back to pushing a button, back then I started it in 1995. And then about 10 years later, I decided to expand from 700 square feet to like 3,000 square feet.
Which is a big move.
Which is a huge move. And this is where really interests me in commercial real estate as we moved into the real estate realm and created the commercial division. So I talked to the landlord of the shopping center, and they said, Mr. Jones, we own 25 shopping centers across the East Coast. They said, we have salons, barbershops, and none of them occupy this amount of square feet. We don't think that that's a good move for you. I said, well, I've been a paying tenant here for the last 10 years, never been late, and I think I deserve this opportunity to expand, regardless of what you think or regardless of what anybody else has done or has not done in the East Coast. So when you talk about an aha moment, it was hesitant whether I said all these naysayers and doubts, even a couple of barbers that worked with me, old school guys, no, that ain't a good move, and that was the where I was like, screw it, boom, push it all in, poker, and 32 years later, it's still a, no pun intended, icon. Parkside is still an icon in the community, and is a conversation at the dinner table and holiday table for a short pump and Rico.
About what you created. Like I said, when I walked in, I was like, whoa, like, is this a black barbershop? Because, now we get the celebrity barbershops or the barbershops charging, but we all know the barbershops we grew up with. You went around. Like that. It didn't matter what city you went to, the barbershop looked like the barbershop.
So, fast forwarding to Icon Realty, going back to you being petty as being from Philly.
Yes, sir. Proudly.
I'm going to engage in some of this pettiness right now.
Well, we thank you. Let's go there.
So the major event that I invited you to, that
the man was sick.
That you fake sick on. That was one of the moves. That was an aha moment. Katina and I always say, always have the conversation. Whether you have a preconceived idea in your mind, whether or not you're going to never do something, old folks always say never say never, but always have the conversation. And we ended up, because we were so proud to be a minority owned, independent real estate brokerage, that we would never have a conversation as far as acquisition, being acquired, being sold, or merging. We actually had the conversation. Now, it took a long time. We did a lot of due diligence, probably 8 to 9 months worth of due diligence, under non-disclosure NDAs, and really tossing and turning at night to make a decision. But those moments, those aha moments, when you have to use the bathroom and get off the pot. Should we get off the pot?
Yes.
I'm not going to say that on here,
but we understand.
Yes. We had to understand that they came and talked to us because we were somebody. We were in the room. Yes. We were making a difference. And we still held true to our beliefs that we were not going to sell, we were not going to be acquired. But we ended up merging, remaining independent. This is the big sparklers that you wasn't at.
When we're doing the ERA part.
Yeah, when we had the announcement, the one you wasn't at. Yeah, that one.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Appreciate that. All I got to do is look at the videos from it and see it was a big deal.
We had the president from ERA, who was the first Hispanic president of any brokerage across the country. He came personally to do the launch with us, as well as a number of the other staffs and administration that ERA has. But doing that, we were able to negotiate, still keeping our independence, but merging and aligning ourselves with a company, a franchise that is now has the largest tax stack in the world. Compass International Holdings, CIH, ended up buying Anywhere brand, which ERA falls underneath. And so now we are aligned and merged with the largest franchise in the world.
What type of resources does that give you when you're out in the marketplace now?
Everything. We like to say it's a jetpack. It's a jetpack that's, can just launch you faster and further than anything that you can create on your own.
So you already were iconic, and now all of a sudden you have those resources to use as well.
We have resources that can market local residential property across the country.
Okay.
We have, with AI, as that networking AI event we went to, I actually really loved that because, with AI, with the technology moving faster than we can shake a stick at, as an independent brokerage, we couldn't keep up with that. Even, we hired somebody to do this, we created a system to do this, and by the time we finished the system, it's gone. You had to redo the whole thing over again. So, aligning ourselves with them allowed us to have, the best tech stack, which is everything in real estate that you can acquire, and that way we can focus more on selling properties than actually coming up with a new plan.
Mike King, Robert Jones, aka Bobby Jones, is here with this. The dapper gentleman here. He comes in. So your son is in the studio with this as well. We're going to touch him in a bit. Remember the time I mistook you for your partner in crime?
Oh yeah, that was a problem. That was an issue. You did a lot of things to me, man, and I'm still here.
So he walked in. I asked him, "What time's Robert getting here?" And I asked him a couple of times. I'm like, "Yo, where's your boy?" He goes, "He's on his." Looking right at him and confusing him with Kobe. You said to me, "Yo, man, you need to go get your glasses." Kobe said he never felt so disrespected. But that was your line right there. You said, "I've never felt so disrespected." I'm looking at you asking what time Robert coming. All right, so you got to get out of there. But really quickly, we're going to touch on something where you said when you put systems in place, the business can run itself. And you told about COVID. Yeah. We realized, COVID forced you to be able to look at something and like, we do not have to be there with our hands on the baby. You have to keep your hands on the baby. We shouldn't put it like that. That's old school. Yeah, I tell my grandkids, that type of parenting isn't allowed anymore. It's frowned upon. We're gonna get some for your grandkids. So I did come from the old school on the giving and receiving end.
Absolutely.
So talk about that right there. You're telling us about what happened with COVID and Icon.
Yeah, we were just having a small conversation before this, and really talking about creating a solid foundation, putting policies and procedures in place so that the company can run without you having to, physically be there to feed it day to day. That's what we've done with Icon. That's what we've done with Parkside, is really, making sure the foundation was solid, so that you can work on the business instead of in the business all the time. But if you're working in the business all the time, there's really nobody to be the visionary to continue to help grow the business, because, you just can't. My dad told me one time, he owned an Exxon gas station. He said, "I lost more money working at the business instead of going out and creating more business." So that stuck with me over the years, and really understanding how, creating that foundation so that you're able to go out and get more business, so you don't remain stagnant in business, is one of the most important ingredients as far as, growing your business.
There you go, Robert Jones. How can we reach you out there, sir?
You can reach me at iconrealtyrva.com. That is the residential side of things. Icon Commercial, iconcommercialrva.com is where you can reach us and the commercial side of things. And my number is always out there all over the place, 804-399-6106. If you want to talk to me, it's my personal cell number. Our office number is 804-775-2000. That's the residential number. And the commercial number is 804-293-2621 if you need any commercial real estate advice, acquisition, leasing, anything. Call us. That's what all of the avenues in which we can be found.
There you go.
With these mics, I feel like I'm customized. This is my good times of life, but still boxing my shadow. This is my good day. Never threw in the towel. Hip hop's Messi, Neymar, and Ronaldo. Go scored on these boys. I don't want.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike King here. That's a Philly right there. Mike King with my man, Mr. Jones. They do it iconic style. That's it. Whether it's the barbershop, whether it is the real estate firm, that's how you do it. That's what. But I don't even know why he gave you his number. Now, he may call, but he might be in Bordeaux, France, or somewhere where they out there with their pinkies out. That's not me. I got to go. Thanks. Now, take care. Hey, thank you. I'm tired. All right. Somebody get up. Get up.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage is MIKEKINGBIZ, the voice of RVA business media. At MIKEKINGBIZ, we celebrate the idea that business makes society better.
Hey, it's Kelly Lemon from the Virginia Wayside Furniture Studio for an all-new episode of 8 at 4. It's Kelly. All right, here we go.
Hey, it's Matt Pachilli from the Virginia Wayside Furniture Studio for this food-filled
I'm Kelly
episode.
Lemon.
And I'm Michael Paul Williams.
And welcome to the After the Monuments podcast.
Happy playoff season, 804 football fans.
For the Richmond Times-Dispatch, this is Jeff Shapiro.
I'm Justin Lowe, food writer for N4 Magazine and dining critic for the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and I'm here to tell you where Richmond eats.
Our marketplace is accelerating at an unprecedented rate. At Lee Enterprises Virginia and the Richmond Times-Dispatch, we are investing in the tools, talent, and technology to tell your story through a fresh lens, lifting local brands and helping businesses grow. Let us help you amplify your message, reaching the right audience at the right time.
Welcome to the Road to Richmond bracket unveiling.